test and trace. And I am a career organizer and advocate for issues such as housing, nonviolence, anti-gun violence, domestic violence. I'm a survivor myself, but I consider myself to be an actionist. So, and I say that because many people call themselves activists, and that means they got their name in the paper somewhere, right? But I've never seen them in part of movements. I'm very proud of my arrest record, working and fighting towards $15 minimum wage and a union for fast food workers, for airline workers, fighting against wages that just would not fly, for the car wash workers so that they can get a union and some benefits, for education, and asking then Governor Como, where is this lottery money? Everybody's buying lotto, and I have yet to see those dollars manifest in our public schools. So I am an actionist because I encourage, agitate, and inspire people towards action for positive impact. And so had to coin the phrase because, sisters, if you don't see someone doing what you want to do, if you don't see the role, get a sledgehammer and make yourself a way to get where you need to go. Make room for yourself because your talents, gifts, and abilities will make room for you, right? So get that sledgehammer, present as yourself as your authentic self with your intrinsic value, and make a way. So I'm a way maker, a life bringer, a nurturer, and an agitator, and an actionist.
Say your name again, ma'am.
Kathleen.
Kathleen Daniel. Don't forget that name, ladies and gentlemen, because you will hear it all the time, multiple times. She's definitely a fighter. So our other panelists, Miss Nina, Monica.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me well? Great, great, great. So my name is Nina Monica, and I wear many hats. I'm a mom of 5 amazing children. I also have a nonprofit that help aspiring politicians ages 17 to 25 get started in office. I'm an author. I'm a community organizer. I work with a nonprofit that fights for quality education for all students in New York City public schools. I have my own business, which is called Enrich Your Life LLC. Well, I help aspiring entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, get their business started from launch, from idea all the way to launch. I I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about myself. I inspire and encourage and empower everyone I come across. I definitely have put my work in the community, from gun violence all the way down to quality education. I definitely during the pandemic, I ensured that families had meals. And this is things that I don't do for clout or anything. I don't probably put on social media.
You're breaking up a little, Nina, just a little bit.
But I definitely do behind the scenes. Behind the scenes work. Actually, yeah, my reception is horrible. I live by the beach, yo. I'm so sorry.
We record some of it. We record most of it.
So yeah, that's just a little bit about myself. I don't even know what else to say. But that's just a little bit.
So
I'm gonna try to actually want to get into another thing so you can hear me better.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna help Nina out a little bit with introducing herself. So my experience of Nina, as she spoke just recently, she is an entrepreneur and she's an entrepreneur maker. That means, like she said, her organization helps people to start their business from idea to launch. And she creates an incubator for them to help them to see those dreams and aspirations through. And from her own dream, her own vision to see people grow and see their vision, and not to see it, not to have her name posted anywhere. She does it from the kindness of her heart and her own precious time. You heard she says, what, 5 kids? Oh, girl. Where do you find the time? And not only that, Nina as well as Kathleen, we've all been organizers for some years now, and we see the value in political power. And the fact that Nina has an organization working with the youth from 17, which is something that I am all for, 17 to 25, embracing a political career, that is amazing, because that is the age bracket that we need to be addressing when it comes to political power, because they are the voice that will be pushing the needle on our next decade, the next form of laws that will be put in place. So that is amazing. In addition to that, she's raising a family. She has her own business that she is seeing into fruition. So let's give Nina a hand clap, and let's also give Kathleen a hand clap. This is just the tip of the iceberg for these two ladies. They are amazing women. I also have experienced them. We all three were community education council presidents and vice presidents of our local district school boards. So that's how I met Nina. She invited me to her school board, or from Brooklyn to Queens. And we tried to make an inner city connection so that when we talked about education equality, it was equal for all students, no matter their borough, no matter their neighborhoods, or the color of their skin, or their ethnicity. Because I know in Nina's district, she had a lot of different cultures in her district that didn't all look alike. And we wanted to make sure that all kids had, the best, as well as Kathleen and myself. All right. So with that said, let's get the night started. So Kathleen, Nina, because we started off with Kathleen. I'm gonna ping it back to you. Is your reception better?
I'm trying to get on from another device, so I'm gonna see if it works out for me.
All right, so we'll work with you. If I can hear something, I'll just repeat it for you so the audience can get a clearer understanding of what you're saying, okay? I'll just paraphrase for you, okay? All right. So I have so many juicy questions that I don't know where to start, all right? So because you guys are a part of the political landscape, right? I don't know if I want this juicy one to come out so soon, but I'm curious to know, because we've seen it in New York City right now, New York State rather, in New York City, that we have a lot of women leadership. Like maybe the first time in history, it's like saturated with feminine power. Do you guys think this is going to change how women are viewed in this country and how we're treated? Nina, I'm going to put that to you first. And think about it like macroscope, right? Because you got to think of Tish James, who is our district attorney. You have our governor, who is also a woman. You have now our commissioners and our deputy mayor in New York City. Like, our police commissioner is a woman. Like, how does that, what does that say about how we are viewed? Like, talk to me.
I'm so glad that women are stepping into these positions, because these were male dominant positions from whenever you can remember in history. And now to see women stepping into these positions, I'm proud to be a woman, and this, during this time. And I'm glad to be able to witness this. I think it's going to make a difference, because I think we needed more women in these positions, because, believe it or not, a lot of times I think women are only viewed as like moms at home working mediocre jobs. But however, we have so much power, we have so much kick. Why not use our gifts to, bring out totally what we can do in our communities, what we can do for our countries and things like that. I really think it's going to make a difference. And I'm proud to say last year I worked on Maya Wiley's campaign, and it was so great just seeing her run, even though she didn't win, but just seeing her run and being side by side with another woman, was just an amazing feeling. But I do think it's definitely going to make a difference. And I'm proud to say that, happy to see that women are stepping in these positions now. It's much needed.
Awesome. Thank you, Nina. Kathleen.
So Nina, I'm going to send you love because of course we're talking Team Adams here. I had to tease you about that a little bit, and just want to give a special greeting to all of my sorors and my fellow compatriots from Borough Hall. I mean, just again, thank you, sisters, because I really appreciate You're just responding to a text and saying, I need to see what's going on tonight. So grateful to you and grateful for you. So Shimona, that finally there are so many women that are in position and that have been elected, have won these elections. Is that going to make change? It's a beginning. It's a start. And I'm grateful for the beginning, and I'm going to continue to fight so that more women get these doors open. I myself ran for office twice. I ran against a then two-term incumbent going for her third term, stole 35% of the vote from her, and now she's back in office. So the people have spoken, right? Our people perish for lack of knowledge. And so there are some communities that are staying on their treadmills, right? They're staying on their hamster wheels. So that is an example that just because we are in the place does not mean that space is going to be held for us to have power. It does not mean it isn't incongruent with change. The change comes into effect when we, the constituents, the voters, the residents, the mothers, the grandmothers, the taxpayers, we stay active and hold everybody's feet to the fire. We have to hold people accountable. We cannot just say, oh yes, we've overcome. There's estrogen in city council being run by my Sora, Adrian Adams, the speaker. There's estrogen right now in the Senate where we have Andrea, another Sora, running and a speaker. No. We need to hold their feet to the fire, knowing now, one, that we put them there, and two, that finally what is different now is that we have empathy, not sympathy, not pity, not someone patronizing us, but empathy as only women can bring to the fore. And so let's keep, again, the pressure on so that these sisters don't forget that the African cosmology, which should be that of all people with estrogen, is I am because we are. And I say that, women, because there is no such thing as one slut, as one bee. No. When one of us is disrespected, the entire life force is disrespected. And so we can't celebrate yet. Let's be happy. Let's be joyous, but let's get to work.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. And I agree with you. You know, as an on the ground person going to Roots Camp every year, we're told that the people have the power. Also, you know, I try to teach in my comings and goings to people that when you go and vote for someone, it's like hiring a manager. And if you were running a business, you hire a manager. You're not going to say, oh, I hired that manager. My money's going to be made. My business is going to thrive. No, you're going to check your books. You're going to see how your money is getting run. You want to see your customers are happy. And you want to make sure that your business is successful. You don't just hire a manager and walk away. And your vote should have the same type of dedication and commitment as that hire, because you are hiring someone to manage your taxes. You're hiring someone to beautify your community. You're hiring someone to make sure your schools are educating your children, that your hospitals are healing the sick. You are hiring that person to do that when you hire them in office. And most often people don't get that. They're like, oh, those politicians. No, honey, you hired them. And if you didn't, your neighbor did. So you need to get on board. So thank you for that. And, you know, putting the fire to their feet is truly important. That brings me to my next question. So Kathleen alluded to it. So is it that we believe that a micro level of power or a micro level of change can influence a macro level of change? And Kathleen, you could go first on this one.
So, and of course, there are two parts to that, right? Because nothing is simple. So can a small axe make a serious dent and do some damage? Absolutely. And we have to approach certain things with a small axe. But let's not, let's put the buzzsaw on layaway too, right? We're going to have to attack it from all sides because we have, as women and as people of color, we've got a long road to catch up. I mean, finally, this year is the first year that Juneteenth is going to be celebrated as a holiday in the state. Look how long it took. right? So we're talking from 1865 to now. Are we insane? And it took, let's just use Juneteenth as an example. The slaves were emancipated, and it took them 2.5 years to hear and come to the knowledge and understanding of the truth. And quite frankly, some of us still aren't free, right? So we learned the truth, but centuries later, we are still struggling for equality and for civil rights and for true freedoms that others already had. And so, yes, the small acts is necessary because we need to start chipping away and continue to chip away. We need to be that leaky faucet because that can do a lot of damage to the supremacist structure, right? And to the systems that we have to tear down. But let's keep the buzzsaw on layaway. Let's keep it charged because some things are so egregious. Some things are so disgusting, like the last president we had, like the Harvey Weinsteins, like there are so much that we just need to cut down and put a stop to. So I agree with a micro approach. I agree with the macro approach. I agree with any approach towards positive change. And don't stand alone. Don't. We can weaponize our unity and the fact that we can empathize with each other. And that is the key, because if I stood outside of City Hall with a sign, I'll be cold, right? And maybe someone would notice. But if 100 of us stood outside of City Hall with one sign, we would get the attention that we need, right? And draw attention to the issue. Not to mention, somebody would start wondering, a few somebodies, maybe 52 of them in that council. Wait a minute, whose district is that? Do I need to pay attention? Right? And they would start to be concerned, and somebody would walk over and find out, where y'all from? And so I think that we have to approach from 360 degrees, Shimona, because we don't have one problem. And take our concentric circles and target sometimes that small axe so that we can make a dent and then blow it up.
Awesome. Thank you, Kathleen. Let me tell you something. Kathleen is a powerhouse, okay? And when she speaks, you hear her talking about axes and power tools and all that. She's serious about what she's saying. But, just to paraphrase a little bit what she's talking about, you guys don't realize. So one of the things we learned in organizing is that, okay, you can show up by yourself. Like she said, you can show up, you're going to be cold, outside in the cold. But one thing we learned in legislation, if 10 of us show up, each one of us is connected to at least 100 people in our lives. So that already created 1,000 people. And legislators know that. Now, if 100 of us show up, that's it. They're going to move. They're going to make a difference. They're going to think differently. They're going to ask questions. And that's why when people call you and be like, come to this meeting or do this, I know sometimes people get tired. They're at work all day, but you don't realize that one act of you and then maybe 5 or 6 others in the room, that takes a poke at something that could be bigger and open the floodgates to change. There's so many things that went undone or that got done without our knowledge because we didn't take that 5 or 15, 20 minutes to go to a meeting or go on a Zoom or go answer a phone call or whatever. Like for instance, one of the things, there's a lot of talk about NYCHA in New York City, how they're being sold to developers. A lot of families could end up homeless. They're still in conversations, but the people don't even understand the powers that they are fighting against because they don't really have the understanding because somebody didn't go to the meeting. All right, so go to the meetings. So Nina, I'm gonna ask you again, so Kathleen alluded to the micro level of organizing or the micro level of getting involved. Do we think that the micro level would influence a macro level, or is it that it has to happen on a micro level in order for it to really affect us on the micro level? Or how do you really view that?
So can you guys hear me better now?
Yes.
Thank God. Okay. First of all, I want to give my hats off to Kathleen. She may not remember me, but I worked on her very first campaign about 7 years ago. And I came out from Queens to Brooklyn and helped her out. I remember I found out I was pregnant the day before, so I was very tired. But I definitely
Report.
helped work. I definitely worked through your campaign. So, with that being said, I definitely and you guys said a lot of what I wanted to say. It's power in numbers. That's the whole thing of, if I'm standing in front of City Hall by myself, like Kathleen said, we just look crazy. Crazy person standing there with a sign. But however, if we all bind together and come together on one accord, we could definitely make moves that will make great impact in our communities, in our cities, in our states, and in our country, And a lot of times, ladies, we get off track and we do not support one another. It's very important to show up, like Shimona said, to the meetings, to the events, and things like that. You know why? Because if we want to make impact on a micro level, we have to start minute, and we should not despise small beginnings, because it's 5 of us starting this. Does not mean that one day it won't be 5,000 of us to roll together and make the impact that we need to. And I think also a lot of times we don't have the confidence. We think we're women and nobody's going to listen to us. That's not true. That's not true. We all are powerhouses in our own type of ways. Okay. So I definitely think that, and I'm not going to go over what they said, because they said everything that I wanted to say, but there's power in numbers. I think a small change can create a great impact. And we just need to continuously stick together and support one another. Like things like this, those PTA meetings, those community council meetings. That's how I started. I started going to my local meetings. I started running. When I invited Shimona, I was the president of the Community Education Council in District 28. I've worked hard and I put my foot to the ground in my community, and I think that, as women, I think we need to do that more often, because we can do it. We have just as much power, and that's not to sound, make it a sexism thing, but we do. We have just as much power. And a lot of times we get caught up in the day-to-day things and not forgetting to support our fellow sister, out there. So I definitely, there's power in numbers, and we should all continue to support one another and get involved in the things of our community if we want to see change, because complain does not make change.
All right, now y'all heard that? Hashtag complain does not make change. Write it down. Awesome. Thank you, Nina. Yes, Nina, both of these ladies, thank you so much for your answers. I appreciate that. Powerhouse. So I'm just going to ask one other political question. I know I beat you down to the political questions because you guys are out there. And you guys are out there. I don't like to say the field. We say the field all the time. It kind of triggers me a little bit. But we're out there in the trenches. We're out there, in the communities and doing the work. And I would like to say one other thing about the micro level. Micro level doesn't have to always be political. I know individuals with organizations that have nothing to do with politics that makes positive change in a community, like an organization that attacks violence, or an organization that teaches empowerment or education, or help kids get to college, or organizations that help to understand financial health, not financial wealth. Aha moment. Financial health, because wealth doesn't always mean financial health. You see a lot of people going to that, we assume to be rich, that are having tax evasion issues. Financial health. There are organizations that do that. So if I know in this conversation we're really talking about the political landscape. Just know that anything, but small or big, that you can contribute to the movement is something that's a micro level piece that can influence the micro level of change that we're looking for. Okay. So, and that leads me to my next question. Ladies, how do we move forward as a subculture to influence both the political landscape of things and just overall health of our subculture? Nina, I think it's on you. And you alluded to it when you stated that, you know, we need to support each other?
Yes, that's where I was going to start. We have to definitely support one another. I think even if you have an idea and you bring it to the table and you tell your a fellow sister, I think that we can, sometimes it doesn't have to be a big, like I believe you said that. We don't have to be a big organization to get together. It could be us right here on this Zoom to get together and create an impact that will be a lasting impact. I think that we can start more by support one another. I think we could do more by speaking up. I think we can be more helpful to one another. But, a lot of times women are, and unfortunately, sometimes we're negative towards one another. I think we need to start doing things in love, and looking at the other side of things sometimes. Sometimes you hear something about a person and then you think that's just one side of them when there's many sides to an individual. And I think that we need to get to know one another a little bit more and without a judgment lens, and that way we can work together better. And also we need to have platforms like this where we can hear one another. What are the issues of the community? My issue, I might be like, my neighbor always leave their garbage outside and nobody else says anything, and I'm the only one saying something about it when there's 30 other people that feel the same way. It's not to attack the neighbor, but it's to come to a solution of how we can make things better. So I think basically coming together, we can also come up with solutions on how to make things better in our communities. So I think it's really about supporting one another and listening to each other and creating platforms such as this so that these ideas and these situations can be heard.
Awesome. Thank you, Nina. I would like to address the audience really quickly. So you guys can put things in the chat box. I'm recording this panel. So when I pull the recording, I can see your comments. Also, if you have questions, I'm checking back and forth in the chat box. So if you have any questions for the panelists, you can put them in the chat box and I'll ask them so that they can answer any questions you have in the chat as well. So put your comments. If you have something inspiring to say, you have a quote you want to put up, if there's something you just want to just share, you can go ahead and put it in the chat box. Okay. All right. So Kathleen, how do you see us moving? How do we move forward as a subculture?
We show up, and we need to show up just as ourselves, as exactly who you are, because then you can be confident, right? We can all be confident. We know who we are at this point, right? So if we show up as our beautiful selves, because women are beautiful, if we show up as ourselves, never withholding a compliment. I don't care if you don't like her next to you, but if her hair is tight and right, let her know. Don't keep that a secret, because then you're going to see a different side of her, a different part of her. Show up as yourself, your vulnerable self, right? That is open to receiving and to giving. Show up, period. And be in the space and be present in spaces. That's how we begin. And remember that vision provides for vision. And so my vision may simply be to get a barrel and fill it up with pencils and send it overseas for help. And you may have a house full of pencils because your kids no longer use them because they get to a certain age where it's all about pens, and everywhere you look, there's another pencil in your house. I'm sorry, I'm telling on myself, but you may have that situation and can just bundle up a Ziploc bag of pencils and drop it into my barrel. And some of you are my church sisters. Some of you are my activist sisters. Some of you are the ones who will call me and say, there's no hot water here in NYCHA, right? Call everybody you know. Let's get a camera. Just show up and the network will come. Because I firmly believe that energy, every action is a reaction, right? We can all drop a pebble in that pond and get those circles that reverberate, but we can't do that if we don't just show up, and show up as you, Lisa, show up as you, Keisha, show up as you, Heather, show up as you, Tracy, because nobody else has been cut to show up as you but you. And when we present ourselves with the beauty, the vulnerability that only women have, with the empathy that only women can share, then we can move mountains, because I firmly believe, and I've experienced it, if a Black woman can't do it, it can't be done.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. So, um, something for me to add to that. The ladies have given us their absolute best answers. I love it. So my follow-up question to that, because um we have young women looking at us, right? They're looking at us not only for answers, they're looking at us, you know, to see what we're gonna do wrong sometimes, right? So they can check us. Believe it or not, I get checked on a regular. I have a 16-year-old about to be 17. Um, but there's also a age gap that we need to deal with. So not only do we have to deal with diversity of our culture, not only do we have to deal with um inclusion of our subculture, because it's not just Black women. We have Asian women, we have Hispanic women, we have Caucasian women, we have Caribbean women. We have so many subcultures within the subculture of women, right? All across this world, there is a woman somewhere. Okay. So we have a lot of subcultures within our subculture, but we also have the youth, right? And we talked about Nina's program, but how do we, ladies, how do we pay it forward? You know, what are some of the ways that we can pay it forward to our young sisters? I started with Nina, so Kathleen is on you.
So being a woman who's raising a young woman, and who is in business with women younger than me, because I'm unapologetically over 35, right? They teach me constantly. And so I'm not going to give you the pat lead by example. If I can ask and make this ask of all of us, we have been conditioned to keep everything a secret. Everything is private. Don't share your business. You can't tell her that. And so our people perish for lack of knowledge. Yet there is honor among thieves, and the brothers that are out there abusing are sharing stories, comparing notes, and improving their craft. And it's working against us. And so it is your story. What you have gone through is not a matter of shame. Mm-hmm. It is a matter of resilience, right? Diamonds, pearls, these are formed from extreme pressure, right? And we cannot be women on this planet, let alone Black women, and not have gone through the extreme pressure that has brought out this intrinsic value of these jewels that we are. We are all living in post-traumatic stress disorder. Every last damn one of us. We have inherited trauma. We are surrounded by trauma. We have dealt with our own, even when we didn't recognize what it was. And so I'm asking women, open your mouth, tell the truth, tell your story, so that the next sister isn't going to fall prey to what you fell prey to. We need to treat our stories and our narrative and our traumas like we treat a sale. I don't care that Macy's had, some Louboutins on sale and Michael Kors at 50% off. Okay, you can let me know about that. But treat your trauma like it was that sale, and don't be afraid of being judged, because you are the conglomeration of every decision you've ever made and every decision that has impacted your life. And there is nothing wrong with that, except in not learning and not using it to teach. Mm-hmm. So we pay it forward by going back and telling the truth about the road that we tried to get where we are.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Nina, my friend, how do we pay it forward?
I think we pay it forward, going right back into what Kathleen's been hitting a lot of my notes, transparency. And that's one thing, I'm never afraid to speak about what I've been through, what I'm going through, how I got there, and where I'm going to do about getting out of it. So, that my story is not for me. My testimony is not for me. is for other young women along the way. I have a 18-year-old daughter who participates in my organization, as a young woman. Matter of fact, my organization is filled just with women right now, and that wasn't on purpose. But I like the fact that women gratified to my idea and decided to join forces with me on this movement, because I think there are a lot of aspiring young Black politicians out there, and especially females. I just think that if we gave them a floor to do all these things, that way they can, reach greater heights. Also, in my business, as I cater to women. Yes, I do help men start their businesses, but my business is mostly for women, and that's aspiring female entrepreneurs who have ideas. Sometimes we have ideas that we don't know how to put out there. So I created that platform for them. So I just think that by us being, like Kathleen said, more open, more transparent, more willing to do things, I think that's how we can create the movement that we need to make for the women of today, the women that are coming up, and the women, even the women that are already here. Sometimes they don't even know where to go. So, that's why I'm great. I'm glad that Shamona's and Kathleen's and other ladies that are on this call who are making impact. That way we make room for them, and that way we can join arms, and that way we can make a greater impact.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies. Awesome. And just to, get into that conversation of transparency, I had on my own journey about 3 years ago. I was experiencing a lot of pain, and I was, hemorrhaging when I would get my monthly, and I was severely anemic. And when I would go to doctors, they would not really give me answers. I tried multiple birth controls and everything like that. Finally, a doctor heard me, and I found out I had 7 fibroids in my uterus. And there were treatments that they said would work, and finally I came to the decision, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to get a partial hysterectomy, right? It was so scary. I was afraid. I didn't understand. But my doctor, he was very, very informative. He told me about every step that would take, everything that was going to happen to my body. And I felt thankful for him. Now, post the surgery, maybe months, I heard these ladies in the bathroom talking, and they were talking about hysterectomies. And I think I was talking, matter of fact, I was talking to one of them about fibroids. And she was like, oh yeah, I had that. And another one said, yeah, me too. And another one said, I said, wait. How are all these women experiencing this? And my 30-something-year-old self is just hearing it. And it's because everything is so hush. We say, okay, this is my business. This is my own experience, or I want my business on the street or whatever. But in cases about health and things that that women in your subculture, or women in your bloodline, or women in your community may experience, sharing that experience could save a woman's life and even her organs or her body, So sharing, even when you think that maybe it's a little intrusive, or maybe it's a little too personal. And I'm not saying go outside your comfort zone. I'm saying you don't know what life you can save by just sharing that one thing that you feel so uncomfortable with, may be the thing that saves a whole generation of women. So I ditto the women in sharing and being transparent about our experiences. So my next question for you ladies, and we're going to lighten this up because we're getting close to time. So we're at 8:50, and I'm going to ask the ladies a couple of more questions, and then I'm going to give you guys some call to action, because in organizing, if you don't have a call to action, it's just really us just shooting the shot right now. So my question to you ladies is, what do you commit to doing to influence women for the rest of Women's History Month?
I think it's my go. So
Yes.
I've been highlighting some women, and I've also been sharing my journey, because I was just hit by a car a month ago. And so I've been sharing my journey, and I've been sort of highlighting women. Even I've been reaching out to women in my network just to encourage them and to say, hey, sis, you're doing a good job. Keep it up, or, I see what you're doing, or do you need a hand? My cousin had an event earlier this month. She's opened an organization called Daughters for Sure, who's supporting, women. And I've been just having my hands on, with her and helping her with that. So I've just been highlighting women. I've been sending out text messages. I've been doing some Facebook shout outs because I don't think, and I do this not just Women's History Month. I post things about different women in history who have done things that have, impacted, our world. So that's just a little bit of what I've been doing. I wanted to do something on a greater level, but unfortunately, due to my accident, I was unable to. But I definitely, I don't want to just be this month. I want to ensure that I reach out to women more often and to say, hey, sis, here's my hand. If you need me, I'm here for that, and and just to encourage women. So the rest of this month, I'm just going to be encouraging as many women as I can.
Awesome. Thank you, Nina. Kathleen.
So let's do this in a triad. So the first thing that I'm doing and making a commitment to do is self-care. Because if I don't put on my oxygen mask, I can't help anybody, right? And the best thing I could do for women's history, for Black history, is to make sure I don't become history because I didn't take care of myself. So that's number one, self-care. And we need to be selfish, because that selfish is a bad thing, is a misogynist man's lie. Okay. So number one, this is the year of my oxygen mask and being selfish. Okay, number one. Number two is really showing love and being sisterly. Again, I have a policy of never withholding a compliment, of acknowledging women and making sure, sis, I see you. And I've never met a stranger, but I will say to a stranger, I see you. I see them shoes, sis. I see you. I said when Shimona turned on the camera, I was like, I see that gay leg. Wrap that hair. I love it, right? And this is how just these small things can really brighten up somebody else's day and empower them and encourage them, because you don't know what somebody went through to get to where you encountered them in any given moment. Okay, I'm a domestic violence survivor. I would go to work looking good, smelling good, and nobody knew that I would get home and get beat down. No one had any idea that I had to drag myself up, right? And so you just don't know that the impact of your intentional compliment, acknowledgement, gratitude, thank you. I try to drown people in thank you, because you just don't know. Some of us as women, we just never get that, right? And so that's the second thing that I work to do. And the third is to remember that there is a reason that I exist in this season. And that means that there is a reason for all of you. We're still here. How many people died in New York City alone? There was a body count that was massive. How many funerals did you go to? How many condolences did you dole out? Well, don't give one to yourself. There is a reason you are here in time from infinity in this season. And let's celebrate that. Let's look for that in every moment, in every day. Denzel Washington said, there is no purpose without a goal. So set the small goal. Today, you're going to drink water. That's your self-care. Today, you're going to look at that sister that is withdrawn and getting on your last nerve, that last nerve you got, and she keeps jumping on it. And you're going to look and identify with something that you can be positive and send some good energy in her direction about, right? Today, you're going to ask your children if there's any reason why they can't cooperate with picking their socks up, right? And you're going to do it non-judgmentally, and lead and provoke them, right? And the last thing that I live to do is ignite hope. Because without hope, there is inertia, there is stagnation and crystallization. We don't move when there is no hope. And so in everything that I do, in every way and every day, I look for hope, and let's set fire to that. If I've got to bring kerosene, gasoline, or a simple smile, we're going to ignite hope, because that hope, it springs eternal. Is that not what the word says? Where are my church ladies? But that hope that was placed in us, that hope can spur people to life, to fire, towards passion, to knock down. A mother can pick up a car off her child in the hope that she saves that child's life. And so it is our superpower, women. And so in everything, let's ignite hope and set the world on fire.
Yes, love it, love it. I love my sisters. I mean, I don't know who has been with me since the beginning of these Monday night chats. But every woman that I've had on my panel, these are the women I connect with. These are the women I am with on a day-to-day basis. I don't know if you ever heard the saying that you are the average of the 5 women that you're around, or the 5 people that you're around. So if you see my circle, you see how I get down. There is no reason for me to wither and fall or ever fail. And now you have, and probably already do, but you also have this this comfort, this blanket of women with you, because you have attended this, because now we're connected. And I want to thank my panelists so much for being authentic, for being vulnerable, for being open, for sharing their experiences. These 2 ladies, it's so funny. You see how they share their pain and they can laugh at it because they know they have thrived. They know they have survived. They know how they have conquered. And that's what we are about. We are conquerors, no matter what nobody say. Again, if you're on this Zoom call at 8:00 at night on a Monday, you are a conqueror, because you conquered that voice in your head that said, I'm tired, I want to go to bed. You've conquered that voice that said, you know what, maybe I'll catch the next one. You have conquered that, and now you have some knowledge, you have some insight, and so I know some ideas are coming up in your head to take on to your life and on to the next sister, and infect everyone that you will see tomorrow with this new gift of life, this new gift of sisterhood. And I really appreciate it. So I have 2 quick questions for my panelists: lipstick or lip gloss?
Oh, I like them both, because I love lipstick. It adds color, it leaves its mark, be it on the glass or the man. And then I have to add the lip gloss because everybody likes a little shine.
Nina, lip gloss or lipstick?
I'm a glossy type of girl. I'm actually mad I don't have no lip gloss on right this second. I was looking around the room to grab some. I like the gloss because I like the shine.
Awesome. So we are at time. So I'm going to give you guys the call to action. So call to action number 1. There are women in your life. I'm sure of it. The call to action is for you to write them a letter. I'm with the letter because I like letters better than text, but I know some people are, more inclined to just send a text message and to the women in their lives and letting them know that they're special, letting them know that you're thinking about them, letting them know that you are here for them if they need to talk. Reach out to someone that you may not have spoken to in a few, just to let them know, hey girl, I know we haven't spoken in a while. How are you? So that's the first call to action, to reach out to your sisters, and no matter what you thought happened, clear some things with somebody. If you had a falling out with another sister in your life, another woman in your life, find the space, even if you do it alone in your own space, and find that forgiveness, think about what happened. Or if you feel the courage to go ahead and reach out to her and say, hey, can we meet for coffee? I'd like to clear some things up, right? I want to challenge us to move forward and grow and forgive and love and expand ourselves to our sisters, because healing starts with us on a micro level so that we can make it to a macro level, right? The next thing is I'm going to be sending we're going to do a strap tonight. That's what we're doing. So everybody in the chat box, I want you to put in the chat box any websites, Instagram pages, business emails that you have, or you want to share your business or your products, or anything that you are doing that you want this group to support. Again, I said I'm recording this this panel, So I will get all those things, and I will tell the person that invited you to send you this Google link that you can fill out as well. And I will be sending out newsletters in the very near future. Um, and we're going to build connection. We're going to stay connected. So whatever you like to share, this is your time to strut. You can say in the chat box, I'm a teacher, I'm a this, or I sell candles, I sell jewelry, I sell hair products. I'm running for office. In the chat box, I want to see you guys strut in the chat box. And then we're going to break. I want to thank everyone who came tonight. I want to thank my panelists again for being here, for speaking tonight. It's not always an easy ask. It's not always easy to speak, but you guys did it for me, and I appreciate it. Any final remarks from the panelists?
Yes, thank you, Shimona, for doing this. I came a couple Monday nights ago, and I was double dog tired, didn't even want to turn on my camera, and left flying around the room because there's just nothing more powerful than being in a room of like-minded women. And know that you all were invited because you are movers and shakers. We didn't invite people that were sitting home watching Maury. No. We invited powerhouses because it's iron that sharpens iron. And we needed that spark in your energy. So thank all of you for coming, my sisters. I see you, I love you, and I need you. Don't worry about getting into politics and public affairs because it's all up in you. Okay, from the garbage that gets picked up outside your door to where your kids go to school, to where your tax dollars go or don't. So just let's show up for ourselves and for each other, and then positive impact and change will be made.
Awesome. Nina, any final remarks?
First, I want to thank you, Shimona, for even inviting me to your platform. I really am humbled by that. I really appreciate that so much. Kathleen, my fellow panelist, I think you're an amazing woman. Like I said, I've known you, prior to this. As a matter of fact, it reminds me my baby will be 8 next month, and I was pregnant. Just found out I was pregnant with him. And so I definitely, I see you. I've been following you, even though we haven't been in touch. I appreciate all the work that you're doing in our communities. To the women that's on here, don't forget you all have a superpower and that you all are amazing and that you could do anything that you want to do. Every God-given gift, you can use it for the upkept of your house, upkept of you, upkept of your community, and so much more. You have so much greatness inside of you. And if you ever need a sister to encourage you and empower you and inspire you, I'm here. So find me on social media as Nina Monica, and I'm here for you all because I definitely want to grow, our sisterhood. So thank you so much again, and I appreciate all of you tonight.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies. So it is now 9:05. I want to thank you all for coming. As I promised, I tried to keep it within an hour. We went 5 minutes over. I want to thank all that stayed on. You guys can continue to fill up the chat box and do your strut. I'm going to stay on. But anyone who would like to leave, you are welcome to do so. Again, thanks so much for your support. Oh, before you go, next week we have our young ladies on. We have Adia Palmer and Kayla Alford on next week. 2 college students that will be on next week as my panelists. Please join and support these young ladies, for they are going to be here to teach us, to inspire us. So let's be on to support them. I will be sending the links to everyone, and I will have it on my social media page. My Instagram is Shimona K1, and my Facebook is Shimona Kirkland. You can look me up just as Shimona Kirkland. I'm very simple, just always Shimona Kirkland. I am the brand is what I say. I am the brand. So I will share it with Kathleen and Nina. So if they invited you, they will give you the information for next week. So please join. It is the same link, the same Zoom link, same time, same everything. Okay? Awesome. All right. You guys can continue to strut, and I'll stay on while you strut.
Nina, I'm still a big fan. Mwah, thank you.
And everyone who would like to leave,
lady.
have a great night. Great night.
Thank you, Shimona. I really appreciate this, Nina. Just inspiring all of you. So thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you,
evening.
Tracy.
Shamona, I was trying, not me sending the message directly to you that I was supposed to send to everyone. What I'll do is next week, or
You can still put it in the chat because I'm going to you can still put it in the chat to everyone because I'm going to share it in my newsletter anyway. And this particular panel, let me stop the recording. Wait, the panel is going on YouTube. Sorry. On my YouTube page.
That's exciting to know.
Yeah, it's going to be on my channel. I'll send a link for my YouTube channel. I mean, we sharing way too much in the recording, but you see the bloopers. I can bloop it out.
Oh man, thank you all for being here tonight. You guys have an amazing night. Good night.
Good night. Yeah.